Hey guys, Greg here coming to you with another episode of Greg's Bonsai. Today we're going to be showcasing something new on the channel, something that I haven't shown yet on my channel, but something that I've had probably the longest, if not maybe close to the longest that I've had in my bonsai area. And this is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. This is a curtain fig, and it looks pretty monstrous down here on the bottom, and it's got a really nice, lush top right now. So I am gonna have to trim this a little bit later. I'm just gonna hold off on that for right now. And I may have actually shown this in one of my live videos, just when I was doing a trimming. But I've kind of had this for a while and figured why not show it off to everybody and kind of just document some things that I've been doing with this plant. And I have it in this nice bonsai training pot, and I think I'm going to have to up pot this come the new year, only because the roots that are down here and underneath, I lifted this guy up today after a month, and there were tons of roots underneath of it, so I had to trim those off just to kind of make it better. I didn't want the roots sitting in the pan with the water and kind of rotting away at the roots. So I took care of that. Shouldn't be a problem. I've had things like that before where I've had to do that. And the tree, obviously, this ficus is going to survive. This is a curtain fig, but it's a part of the ficus family. And you can see kind of the luscious leaves that come out of this. And you can notice how this guy here, this leaf here is a little bit brighter. They're newer leaves coming out, just kind of building out. I did do a cut here earlier, and just have a branch now kind of coming out from there. And you can just kind of see the difference between a more mature leaf that we have here and a newer leaf, these greener leaves. And even this guy is a little newer and starting to still get that dark green in its place. And I do have this in bonsai soil. I've got some pellet fertilizer, slow release fertilizer for this that has been helping. You can kind of see some calcium buildup on here, so I'm gonna have to take care of that. I'm gonna have to wash this and rinse it out a little bit now that I'm seeing this. But for almost being a year, it's not too bad. We'll just clean it when we start redoing it. And like I said, I'm gonna probably put this in the next size up on this kind of pot. I just got this guy off of Amazon in like a 3 or 4 pack. So I'm gonna get the next size up when it's time to do this and give him just a little bit more room and kind of see I think the roots down here are in the pot, and you can start seeing this soil is just starting to build up. So I think we're getting a little too big for britches in here. Like I said, I had a bunch of roots kind of sitting under here, so I think we're starting to see that. And it's coming out of the wire holes of all places in this pot. But you can see the really cool, like, I want to say ginseng style root system here. You can see these guys getting really fat. These guys don't have to be watered as much. You kind of want to just let this guy water and just let it drain and dry out. You can kind of see some wetness here. I watered this recently, but these guys will get thick and just hold the water, and it's not really that big of a deal. These guys are, I hate to say these guys are super easy to grow, but they are. So if you're looking at getting into a bonsai, a ficus is a great way to start. This and a jade tree, perfect ways of getting started into the art of bonsai and just trying to sculpt and whatnot. I actually got this guy at Home Depot. He is another one of my clearance rack saves. So I got this guy for pretty much half off. He was a steal. He looked so sad, and I said I must save him. And you guys can see I got this guy in March. He was a clearance rack guy. And look how full and vibrant this is. This is how easy it is just to bring it back to life. You can see all these roots trying to come down. They call this kind of a curtain fig because if this guy, he was standing straight up. And in this pot, I decided to kind of tilt him like he was falling in the forest. these roots, and you can even see down here, come out and just want to go into the soil and get more nutrients for this tree. So this is kind of where the curtain part of it comes out. You'd actually, if this guy had a lot more up here, we'd actually see some roots coming out, kind of like an air layer-ish type thing, and just kind of root and start bringing roots down. That's kind of cool. I'm really hoping someday as this guy matures that we see that. But for now, you're just kind of seeing them come out. I'll be trimming some of these eventually. And we'll just kind of give the side view here, the back side, this little root that kind of came down here. But you can just see these guys are just trying to dig in, get those nutrients, and go from there. And the initial, this is not from me, but there was a big cut right here, as you can see. That initially happened, and then things just started to grow. Now, again, this guy was fully upright when I got him, so it's taken a little while for these branches to kind of turn and move upward on the side here. So I'm really interested in seeing how this goes within the next year, because I'm going to start thinning this out, because this is, I mean, there's a lot there. So I'm going to start trying to thin this out just to get a better canopy. There's some cross branching here that I'm going to have to take care of. And you can kind of see on this leaf some blackness. This is actually from a trim that I made here. And the sap just kind of got on the leaf and I didn't clean it off. So eventually I'm going to take care of that. But you can kind of see it comes out like a milky white and then eventually dries as that black on there. So there's been a cut there, there's been a cut there, a trim, I should say. And you can kind of see where the trims are. I haven't done the back cutting yet on these. Just hasn't been here long enough just to kind of give this some time to build up. You'll also notice on some of these leaves, pretty much most of these leaves, there's a lot of white dots on these leaves. And from what I've read and studied, because if you look at this younger guy here, there's white dots as well, but very much bigger. This is actually normal on these leaves. This is its way of kind of secreting, I want to say pollen, because these guys don't flower, at least not that I know of. This is kind of like how the bugs come and help pollinate plants. So it's kind of like little basic, I want to say sugars. You can clean this off if you want, but that's really what that is. It's just the plant secreting out. And then from what I read, there's like wasps and different bugs that actually help pollinate this and move nutrients from plant to plant to help fertilize. So that was kind of cool to read about. So this is my curtain fig that I got, like I said, at Lowe's. I might have said Home Depot, but it was at Lowe's, I believe. And it's looking pretty good. I have to rotate a little bit, but it's been in the grow tent since the move to the colder time. And it's done really well in there, I think. I haven't really lost anything on here. And I've actually done some cuttings. If you notice, these guys here, these are actually cuttings from this plant. So I've been cutting, I want to say probably like, well, you can kind of notice here, okay? It was from here on down. So about, if I would trim this, I would do like a trim here, and then take this, and then take like these bottom leaves off. And then what I ended up doing was I had another kind of bonsai training pot like this, and I just put regular dirt in and just kind of poked them in. You kind of put it at a diagonal, you cut at a diagonal just so that you have that. You put it in some soil, regular soil, and you just kind of let it sit there for a month or two. And they eventually get roots put in place growing out. So the cool thing was I did that. I trimmed 3 or 4 of these. I think it was just these 3. And I trimmed those guys up, put them in soil, let them kind of sit there for about a month and a half. So we're in December now. I think I did this early October. I put them in regular soil, and I'm gonna take this guy off just so that I can get there a little bit more. But you know what, I'm gonna just do a little turnaround just so we can get the full turnaround and full view of this before we get rid of this on this video. And just kind of see how cool this guy is. It gives me a little chance to grab this a little bit better. Put it to the side. And I'm gonna highlight this guy first. This one I just kind of want to serve this as documentation. So this is about 2 months now since it's been cut. So initially it was about right here, okay? And you kind of see this little lead coming out of the top. This thing just continuously grows and grows and grows. So down here, there used to be a leaf. I plucked that off before I put it in the ground. And it just had these 2 leaves on here, these 2 dark leaves. And this just kind of slowly started building up. Now I put this in, I'd say maybe half a month ago, into this bonsai mix. I got this nice little pot here. This is actually, this plant here is actually gonna be a gift for my son's girlfriend. And so we won't be seeing probably any future updates on this this plant, but I just kind of wanted to showcase this one because this one looks really nice. It's got these straight up leaves. This guy actually came out a couple weeks ago, and now we've got 2 more leaves coming out. So this just kind of shows you how easy it is to propagate a ficus branch cutting, and how that goes. Now, when I took this guy out of the dirt and repotted it into these pots, I would say as much as you see here with the leaves, that's how much roots I had underneath. So I did a little bit of trimming of roots before I put it in here. But this is pretty much what you have. And the thing that you really want is to make sure you have free draining soil that doesn't hold a whole lot of water. This will hold enough, and then you just let this dry out. And I have this is in a pot that has a tray that's attached to it that's been glazed together. So it does have water that sits down here, but not a whole lot. And so this pot itself is not holding a lot of water. So this will drain, this will dry out, and as it dries, you're just going to re-water it as it's dry. So this guy, I have high hopes for this one, and eventually it's hopefully just going to build up, and the space is hopefully going to thicken, and we're just going to see how these guys go. So that's the first one. And the next one that started to bloom was the one in this white pot here. So this is the ficus in a white pot from a cutting, just so we can differentiate, because eventually we're going to have multiple videos on these. And you can just see, again, I cut whatever extra leaves would have been down here. And this had pretty much this, like I said, the same amount of roots below ground as it has leaf above ground. And it's in that free draining soil. And I just watered these before doing this video, but you can kind of see the pod for the leaf kind of open up here. And these brand new leaves, look how shiny they are coming out. These guys just came out probably yesterday. I think I had the one out yesterday, 2 days ago, and the other one came out the day after. So we're seeing some continued growth here. And this is pretty green on this. So pretty young, pretty vibrant. And it's just gonna continue with this little green growth coming out as it continues to come up. So this is pretty cool, seeing 2 leaves at the same time come out of this one. So again, this is my ficus in a white pot. We're gonna keep an eye on this as we go. I just kind of wanted to get documentation of them earlier on in their life cycle, just so that we could see how they grow from the beginning. And as I'm trimming my ficus, I will be hopefully being able to have more and just do different kind of styles with these. And here's Here's the ficus in a blue pot. We already have some moss growing in the soil here. This one I have a little bit of regular soil mixed in with bonsai soil. So it's gonna hold a little bit more, and I'm just kind of interested to see if there's any difference between doing it this way and doing it with just the bonsai soil. So this might hold a little bit more moisture. You can see this guy is a little browner, not as green. And you can see here where one of the leaves came off when I did the initial cutting. This guy does not have anything blooming out of this yet. So we're just kind of sitting and waiting, but we'll see how it goes. And you can kind of see the leaves are a little wrinkly and whatnot, but they're still catching that light, still doing the photosynthesis. These leaves are pretty big. Hopefully we can keep them smaller as we go, but I want to try and train this and see how it goes. So there you have it. Those are my ficus from cutting. You got to see the curtain fig ficus from before. But these guys hopefully will be seen in the coming months. So I'm going to try and update as often as I can. Like I said, minus this guy over here. But these two guys, I'm really looking forward to document as the months go on. So let me know what you think. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And like I said, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, like in variety of ficus, I tried to research this. I think this is a curtain fig. And it was between that and a banyan, which is with the way the leaves are on this guy. But if you have any questions about ficus, let me know down below in the comments. If you're growing your own, let me know what you think. If you think they're super easy, like I think they are. Just if you want any general knowledge of them, we can talk about it. I love chatting with everybody in the comments. And if you really like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. And make sure to hit that bell because, you know, as I post new videos, you get alerted right away. And we can go from there. So until next time, guys, this is Greg from Greg's Bonsai signing off. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Hey everybody, Greg here coming to you with another episode of Greg's Bonsai. Today we're going to have an update video, 1 month update video here of my ficus plants, the two banyans that you see in center and left. And I also now have a triangle leaf one in a brown pot on the right. So just wanted to kind of go back. We did a video here about a month ago. These guys over here were actually cuttings that I did from a parent plant, and I put them in these pots, and they have been doing pretty well, I think. And the guy on the right here, this is actually a triangle ficus. I can kind of go in here. I'll do a little bit more detail in a little bit, but I was actually out at a garden this past month, actually the beginning of January, but I'll get into that in a little bit. I just want to kind of focus here on my ficus in a blue pot first, just to kind of give a little update on this guy. So this guy, like I said, ficus in a blue pot. This is like a banyan ficus or a fig ficus, and this is the pot that has a mix of bonsai soil and some regular soil. I'm just trying to test it out and see how, if adding a little bit of regular soil into this mix helps keep a little bit of the moisture in the pot, not as draining as, you know, a full-fledged bonsai soil. But I just kind of want to, you know, do some tests with this, and then I'll repot after a year or so here, just depending on how big these guys have gotten after year number 1. But again, this is the second video of this. I did an intro video last month, pretty much to the day. But these guys have been growing for about, I would say, this is month number 3 total for this guy. I kind of just did a little bit of a trim off of my parent ficus plant, put these guys in some soil, let them grow for a little bit on their own, pulled them out, and the root structure on this, now the last video I did, I think it was pretty much right here at this leaf right here. Actually, I think this guy had 0 leaves actually growing out of it yet, minus the 2 that were on the original branch that I'd cut off. So everything from here on up is new growth in the past month, and we already have a 4th leaf. Let me see if I can, there we go, a 4th leaf already growing on this guy. So you can kind of see that. And the neat thing about this guy is if you look down here, this is all, whoa, if I'm actually focusing on it, this trunk is already pretty woody. It's green woody, but it is definitely a different color and style than what we see up here on this new growth that's coming in. And if you really look close on this, you can kind of see some budding already happening where these older leaves are. So we may see some branches start coming out once this guy gets a little bit more established. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there. And if we look all the way down to the bottom here, let's see if I can zoom in, we actually have a little bit of growth down here as well. So I'm interested to see what happens with that, and if we get some kind of weird sacrificial branch coming out of here. It's not really a sucker because it's not coming out of the roots on the bottom, but we did have, if you look on here, this is where one of the original leaves was on this branch that's now becoming its own plant. So this is kind of like what's happening up here, where we have some growth kind of coming out of these leaves. So I am interested to see how that goes as this guy ages in the next year. And if we do get some branches coming out, which would be kind of cool, you know, and eventually these leaves would fall off, because you can see the difference in size with these two, you know, between this guy and this guy here. These guys were definitely a little bit older, and on that parent tree, they're just bigger. That's just how it is. Haven't tried to make the leaves smaller by, you know, defoliating my parent plant. I'm just gonna leave that go, and as it gets bigger and bigger, I'm just gonna keep cutting and make more of these kind of guys here, and see how it goes, and maybe give them away as gifts. I've already started doing that with these guys. If you remember from my last video, I actually gave one of these cuttings away. But this is the ficus in a blue pot, a banyan or fig type ficus. So this is, like I said, in a blue pot, my ficus. First one in this video today. And we can just kind of again see how much growth in 1 month has come into play here. So this is really where I'm documenting, is seeing how this growth is going into play. And this has all been in my grow tent. And if you go back into my videos, you can kind of see my grow tent and how it's been in there. But yeah, this is the first one here. So we'll move this guy off, and we'll go to my ficus in a white pot. So off the same parent tree as my blue guy over here, this is in a white pot. And if you go back and look at the last video, we actually had these 2 leaves right here already growing. They were super tiny, just like this guy over here with how small that was. But this is my white pot, and in the last video as well, everything down here was actually green like this up here. This is a little bit newer of a branch that I had cut off and trimmed, but you can see how this guy is starting to get a little woody, getting a little bit stronger and sturdier. It's the base, and these guys have a lot of flexibility, okay? But you don't see, you do see a little bit down here where this guy's actually starting to grow something out as well. and we'll see what happens in the next couple months. And it looks like even when I am on my camera here, I couldn't really see it with my eye, but it looks like something's starting to bud right there as well, just in its early stages. But again, this guy was pretty much from here on up is all new growth. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of these guys, of these leaves are all new. Pretty much the same level as the blue one. But this white guy here, you can kind of even see how it's like green-brown up here for all this new growth. I think it looks really neat. And it's cool to kind of see how in the different levels of growth. So this is the original. You have this leaf here, and it kind of just gets a little bit more yellow as it goes up. And as they mature, they just get green. And you can kind of start seeing, let's see if we can see it on this. You can see those little white dots. Those are perfectly normal on these leaves. But that's kind of where I did some research on this. Those little tiny dimples on these leaves are actually there where it kind of secretes a little bit of residue so that it attracts bugs, and that's kind of how these guys propagate, from what I saw anyway. I may be wrong, and I'm sure some people will correct me if I am wrong. But the cool thing is just to see how yellowish these newer leaves are as they're in development. They're very matty. I mean, they have a little bit of sheen to it, but it's like a matte sheen, which is kind of neat. And we still have continued growth coming up here. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys go and how they grow, but it's neat to see the trunks on these guys mature, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys thicken up, especially if you look at the last video. I have the parent plant on there, and it's like it looks like a ginseng type base. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is my ficus in a white pot, another one of my banyans or fig type ficuses. So again, this is the second month of doing these. We'll move to the brown pot. Okay, so this is my ficus. Ooh, sorry about that. This is my ficus in a brown pot. And it's a little different, definitely, because I mean it's a triangle ficus. So of course they get the name here because of the shape, and it's kind of neat because it looks like a heart. So really cool to see that. But this guy's a little bit more mature, a little older. Okay, this is probably a cutting. I actually got this from going to Longwood Gardens with my family. We got this in the gift shop. This guy was less than $5. So pretty good deal there. If you have not gotten to Longwood Gardens yet, I highly suggest it. We went during the Christmas lights and everything like that, but we're actual members of the gardens, and we plan on going every season just to see what they have in the conservatory. And they actually have a really cool bonsai conservatory coming in the fall of this year. So I'm really excited to go back there. Once it's open, I will be video recording, taking pictures, and going in there. But for now, we're just going to kind of hold tight until the fall. But yeah, this is a triangle ficus. I put this in a brown pot. So this is ficus in a brown pot. That's what we're going to call this, at least for the videos. You can kind of just see, I'm trying to just kind of keep this alive. It was in a really tiny, 1.5 inch pot. And I just wanted to give it a little bit of breathing room. The roots were pretty snug in there, so I did a little bit of work on it, got it in here, and this guy's actually pretty good now. It's been in here for a week or two now. And it looks like it's established. So once it starts growing, we'll see some new growth here. I did lose a couple of leaves off of here, and that's just, it's getting used to its new surroundings. I have it in the grow tent, so it's in that 50+ degree weather that it needs. I'm giving it a nice amount of water, and you can kind of see where it's kind of just starting to dry, but it is wet, and I try to wet these, you know, as they need it. So you don't want to oversaturate these guys. But this is, like I said, a triangle ficus. Looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on cleaning these leaves. But couldn't pass this up. And my son is actually starting to get into this now. He's been working on some terrarium work, trying to talk me into doing some terrariums. So we may even do some terrariums on my channel in the future, which I think is going to be kind of cool. I'm actually doing like a closed terrarium with dirt right now, just to kind of see what happens with it. But yeah, not much to say here about this guy at the moment. I'm just interested to see how this guy will grow. Okay, he's about just short, so maybe 2 inches of a chopstick left. But I'm very interested to see how this guy goes and seeing how, and hopefully see some new growth on here as it comes through. So these are the 3 bonsai, or the ficus that I have rather. I'm going to be bonsaiing them hopefully eventually, a couple years down the road, and train them a little bit. But if you have any questions, make sure to let me know down in the comments. If you liked what you saw, please make sure to hit that like button. Okay, it goes a long way. And like I said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about any of these things, if you guys have been to Longwood Gardens and you've enjoyed it, let me know what you think down in the comments below, what your favorite part of it is. And if you really liked what you saw, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Makes me know that you want to keep watching. And make sure to hit that bell with it as well. And you'll get notifications of new videos. So until next time, guys, this is Greg. This was the ficus in the blue, white, and brown pots. Until next time, guys, talk to you later. Thanks for watching.